I thought I'd make a short video with regards to my Talk TV appearance on Sunday night, which I've got to say I'm very, very proud of. It's something that took a lot of courage to go and say. I was approached and asked to do it because um, the media and some journalists have seen what I have been subject to. Um, and of course it's not very nice. um and the subject of the video with Talk TV was with regards to the behaviors of fans. Now, luckily at AFC Bournemouth, we don't have any issues with regards to fans taking narcotics into the stadium, doing anything really stupid. We haven't got that issue. We don't ever really have any problems outside the stadium. What I would say, we are a nice family club. However, when you come on to, say, for example, X, and one of the situations that was being raised was, of course, the Euro 2020 final, where you saw the horrible scenes outside the stadium, going into the stadium, and then, of course, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, afterwards, against those brave players brave enough to step up and take a penalty in what easily was the biggest game of their careers. Unfortunately, it was not to be, but at the same time, the abuse that actually followed was abhorrent and, completely uncalled for. And it's just sad. It's just sad. What's happened is that, in my mind, is the behavior of the 80s and 90s has actually moved to social media platforms. Now, Facebook and Instagram, haven't got too many problems from what I see on the surface. I'm not saying there isn't, but from the surface, the biggest culprit, of course, though, is Twitter and X, and Elon Musk needs to do a lot more about it. Now, of course, I referred to two situations, within that video on Talk TV, which, I hope nobody else goes through. Now, the first one was with regards to the situation with using my daughter's picture on X. Um, Now, it doesn't matter if it's a screenshot or what it is. The only people that should be sharing pictures containing a minor is the mother and the father of that child. Now, I was never insinuating against that person. I don't believe that person is what they were accusing me afterwards of saying that they were. Never come out of my mouth. Never. You can watch any video on here, and it's never, ever, ever come out of my mouth, crossed my mind, or anything like that. But what it happens is that that person then shares it. It falls into the hands of another person who may share it, and then seven people down the line, it might end up in the hands of somebody who is, you know, not innocent, somebody whose intentions are wrong. And that's the fear. That person who initially shared it might not know that person, but seven people down the line, how many of them know each other? Especially on a social media platform like Twitter, like X, which is so open, you know, like I say, and then that person, turns round and says about their mental health when what they've been doing for the past 2 years is causing other people's mental health, especially mine, to take a dip by their constant abuse. And even in, you know, their declaration, they decided to use the words fat biscuit and then the most abhorrent word that you could use in the English dictionary. Um, I've just find that incredibly sad. I find that incredibly sad that you cannot leave somebody to just enjoy what they're doing. You're making a statement about somewhere they're from. I've never denied it. I've never denied it. But at the end of the day, making a statement of where somebody is from, you know, effectively, if you said that to somebody else, it could be classed as something a lot more serious. You know, the fact is Reading is, not far from Bournemouth, and I it doesn't really bother me that much. But what does bother me is using it in a way that is quite aggressive, quite nasty, quite vicious. So I wanted to give some context on that. The video is on here, as is the next 5 videos. Unfortunately, which I've been subject to. Now, this is going with the police because this has used my image. It's used my name, albeit spelt very poorly, but it's also made some accusations about myself which are absolutely disgraceful. And anybody who was actually guilty of these things should be hauled up in front of a judge. But they are all falsified, they're nasty, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It is, in fact, incredibly serious. Incredibly serious. And, I feel that I have to say this because at the end of the day, and the people that were, involved in, that show were absolutely horrified, and people that have I've shown it, people that have noticed it and reached out to me, you know, some which are journalists, some which are journalists you would know are, you know, actually horrified by what was in those videos, what that person was insinuating. I don't want to go over it. The videos are on here. The reason the videos are on this channel and not the main channel is, firstly, I don't want to clog the main channel up with that sort of stuff because it's quite sad. It's quite depressing. It's not what the main channel is for. The main channel is for shows that AFC Bournemouth fans and fans of other clubs can enjoy. But I also wanted to share them as a reminder of how it's not right to be like that, how it's not right to treat people like that. And anybody can see that because it's incredibly sad what's happened in those videos. Now, I'm a good friends with a Newcastle fan. Honestly, one of the loveliest men you could ever meet. Honestly, one of the loveliest men you could ever meet. This happens at all football clubs because that man has never done anything to anybody, and nor would he. Yet he comes under a barrage of abuse, people using his image, people just being spiteful, about honest. It's incredibly sad, and what YouTubers need to do, and what the AFC Bournemouth channels need to do, is stand united to say that this behaviour is not right. All YouTube channels need to stand united and say this behavior is not right. I've been accused of all sorts, which, there is absolutely zero proof of. You know, I was accused, and somebody even changed my name to Craig Bollocksley. Again, not nice, unneeded, unwarranted, about something that I never ever did. Um, And then the people who turn their back on an individual because of something that has been made up by another, they're just as bad as the people actually making these accusations in the first place. And sadly, there's a lot more sheep than there is shepherds who are not fearless of making a mistake. And, I just want a peaceful life. That's all what I've always wanted. I want to do my thing. I want to enjoy what I do. and I want a peaceful life. Not everybody's going to like my channel, and that's absolutely fine. If you don't like this channel and you don't like the main channel, I'm not bothered if you don't subscribe, don't like it. But I hope there is people that do like my content, do like my hard work, do appreciate that, and can make their own minds up about things rather than being told what to think by an individual or individuals whose only intention is to hurt another human being's feelings.